Thanks for tuning into the channel today. So if your heart's set on the new cycle, why not head down to the local dealer and check out a Royal Enfield Classic 350 Reborn. I'm pretty sure it'll tick all the boxes. It does in my case. I'm really happy with the bike, and more importantly, it's a bike that loads really good sex appeal. Well, that would depend on what colour you go for, but I think it'll be a bike that if you go ahead and buy one, and I plan to give you 3 good reasons, is it'll be a bike that, you know, you'll never get sick of. You'll get off the bike, you'll have a look back, you'll think to yourself how lucky you are to ride one of these machines, and you'll get lots of compliments from everyone else who sort of sees you riding it around, and you'll also get a chance to talk to quite a lot of people who wish they owned one of these bikes. So without further ado, let's get into it, and I will give you 3 good reasons. So number 1 would be, I think it's a real dirt road monster. And what I mean by that, it's not a monster as once you get onto a dirt road you can't handle it or it can't handle it. No, not the case. If you look at these shots coming up here now, this is a stock standard Classic 350 in marsh grey, and you'll find that here I am running along on the smooth section of this road, although it probably hadn't been graded, you know, like all that long, a few months earlier. But then I get into some real serious four-wheel drive tracks. Once again, take into account this is a stock bike, stock tyres, and look how well it handles going down through this rough terrain I'm going through now. Now, more importantly, you can't go there like naturally like a dual-purpose outright racer, like if I was on a Honda CRF 300L, for example, or a WR 250R, I think it is, in the Yamaha. It doesn't handle it like that. But the fact is, you don't have to go out there and spend big money on altering this bike. If you take your time, you can get into these places, you can go along, you can cruise through those things. I suppose it's a good idea to toss on the sump guard, but apart from that, I think it handles this terrain quite well. Now, a bit of a disclaimer here, I will admit now I do run Moto's Tractionator tyres on one of these bikes now as far as off-road going, but believe me, if you look back into my history of clips here, and I'll put up a clip near the end, a playlist of 95 clips, you'll see all the time that I'm riding on virtually stock tyres. Anyway, a couple of weeks back I was on the red chrome and I went back to the same spot again, and I thought, I'll see how it goes, because with the Moto's Tractionator tyres on, and see how well it climbs that and goes down. So, you know, I headed off down along there and got up to the track, and the only disappointment was council had been there now and totally graded it, so that track virtually no longer exists in old form. And they've put that sort of ballast type rocks over the surface of it, similar to what they run along railway lines. Now, that ruined that for me, and, you know, there was no challenge there, no reason to go back there, even to want to ride that section there again. But at least I got the memory and the clip to show what it was there like once, and while we're here, you can have a look at the same bike coming back up that hill. Now, that hill was that steep, honestly, you know, when you got off, put it on the side stand, you had to be careful the bike didn't slide back down the hill, and you'll see now how well it ran in stock tyres. So that's my number 1 reason, a really good dirt road runner. So number 2 would be now, so there you go. Who would think Enfield, of all bikes, especially a single, would be that smooth? And I tried it in in the clip there, 3 areas: on the front mudguard, on the seat, and also on the back mudguard. That'd be the main areas where you'd expect problems from if you were riding an old days 350 or 500 single, but not one of these. These ones are super smooth. They're really a joy to ride. So I think I can't, you know, go any further than that one. the proof is in the pudding. You've seen the pudding there, so that you can't get much better than that. And while we're at it, also this bike's pretty good on seal stuff too. I just don't ride dirt. I do actually go out and find a bitumen road, and I ride along that just to see what it feels like. And these bikes cruise along all right at 100 kilometres an hour on that one. Don't like the hills so much, but you know, if you're looking at a good straight road, reasonable sort of stuff, you can cruise along there 80, 90, 100 kilometres an hour, do it laying on your back. Oh yeah, and while at it, like I said at the end of this clip, there's a 95 clip playlist on these particular bikes, the Classic 350 Reborn, also on Hunter and Interceptor. There's a big range there. But what I would say would be, if you're going to ask me questions about a motorbike, make sure you're a thick-skinned person, because it's no use me answering the question, give you a good honest answer, and then you get the shits after that because you're not happy with the answer I gave you, because you were thinking of buying that bike and I thought it was a heap of shit. So, you know, the best way to look at that is, I don't know, I've been on 72 new bikes over the last 12 years, so I got an idea which one's good, which one's bad, which ones I'm going to turf. And if you've been saving 3 years to buy that bike, don't ask me. It's probably best you go to somebody who will fill your head with the information you want. You know, the positive, negative stuff, where if I don't like it, I'll just tell you straight away it's rubbish. And then later on, you know, you'll say I'm not going back to his channel because he always tells the truth. Now, number 3 on the hit list of great expectations of the Classic 350 Reborn would be spare parts. But before we go on to spare parts and servicing it yourself, like, you might say to yourself, geez, Warren, you seem to be in a good mood today. Well, I am. And the reason being, my authorised Rolex dealer contacted me a couple of days ago, and if you're listening there, DG, and and he said to me, hey, your watch you pre-ordered has arrived in stock. So, you know, like all couriers do, I just spoke to the daughter about it and said, could you go and pick it up for me? Because, you know, it's a lot easier to you to go and pick it up at under 40 compared to me at over 70. And she went and collected the watch for me, and I appreciate that side of it too. So all in all, I might just show a sneak preview of that in the next one, because I don't want to excite all you guys too much on the one clip. Now we'll get on to the part of number 3 on my hit list would be with these, what I really like about these Enfields. And the best thing about it, I found, even with the Classic 350 Reborn, is you can do a lot of the stuff yourself. Now, your best idea is just like the old days of the horses, you put winkers on or blinkers on and steer right past that dealer and start doing the oil and service work yourself. So an oil and service change for one of these, like I never use fully synthetic any of these, and I haven't used it in the Classic 350, 500s, 350s, Reborn 350s, Hunters. I didn't even do it in the Interceptor or any of the other ones. So, you know, like a Himalayan, I just use, in my case, and I don't care what sort of oil you use, that would be far from what I've got to worry about if I'm worried about what sort of oil you want. But the fact is, I only ever use Penrite 10W50 on all those bikes, semi-synthetic. And the best thing about it, if you buy the oil, whatever your flavour is, if you go for that one, get your oil filters from India, buy them in a 10-pack, whatever the case is. You'll save yourself some money, and every time you can do an oil change for around about $25. In the playlist, I've got a couple of clips on there, how if you want to adjust your own tappets at the first service, you know, you can do so at your own risk, but it's not that hard to do. I did have a go at fitting the cams in one of those. I actually fit the cam and the other crap in it, but after I rode the bike, you know, between that and the tuners and all that one, I wasn't all that sort of impressed on it. So, you know, if you want to go ahead and do it, as far as I'm concerned. I'd rather just run a totally stock bike, and that also is in the exhaust too. Now, I've got things on there, how to, you know, your solo set, if you want to fit the spring kit, a little hit there on, you know, if you want to get your back wheel off, you can lift your back mudguard. I showed that a few clips back. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but... Oh, actually, I've seen it because I know how to lift it. And, you know, there's a few things on tricks and tips with these ones here, and I've tried different shock absorbers on it and like that. But, you know, like I think overall, if you get out there and do the oil changes yourself, one thing about these new Classic 350 Reborns, or the J-Motor or the Hunter or the Himalayan, and especially the 650 Interceptor, which I still say is the smoothest bike I've been on, you know, it's good to be able to get out there and do your own stuff. And the best thing about it, these ones are fairly reliable. And one thing I would recommend you do is, there's a lot of talk about removing the grease and that from the fuse relays and things like that on all these bikes, and I've had issues there. But I think when it comes to the crunch, I'm not sure if it's the grease that's causing the problem or they're just crappy relays, what they've put in it. So, if I was going to go for relays, I wouldn't go anywhere near a dealer because he's only going to sell you the original stock. I'd contact Hitchcock's in UK and put their relays, what they sell, which I've had them in my bikes and they're more heavier duty unit, and put those relays into your bike. Because if you go to the dealer, you're probably only going to get something he's had in stock for 3-5 years and you're getting the old stock and you're no further ahead, you're just wasting your bloody time. So that's the way I look at it. Same too with, sports air cleaner, don't worry about that crap. Look, I went through all this from 2012 to 2020 on the 500s, where I ran them with EJK tuners, power commanders, different sorts of exhaust, and what did I get for it? 2 blowing up bikes and a lot of headaches. So, I've sort of learnt my lesson since I've gone to 350s, and that's something for you to think about, But if you want to get there and say, no, we need that extra power, the best idea is pull out a few extra $1,000 and buy a bigger bike. But, you can't tell them, but, I'm pretty happy with it. I've put up a clip on the last one there. I think I had 3,000 people look at that clip on 20 horsepower enough, and the clip went 20 minutes, and believe it or not, I was shocked. Like, the average view time from 3,000 people viewing that clip was 4 minutes 10 seconds. 4 minutes 10 seconds. I bet you a few of you is watching this now never even seen this stuff here, which was in the first clip. The couple of the really serious ones that look at the stuff would, but the other ones, they look at the stuff for 3 or 4 minutes and they say, ooh, I've seen enough of war shit today, I'm going. So, that's about how it goes. But overall, I try to give you as good tips, but if you can't hold concentration, well, there's not much you can do. Oh, well, you can, but it's not nice because that's the way it goes. But anyway, the big good thing is I'm in a good mood today. Like I said, got my new Rolex watch, one of many, and I think I'll display it on my next clip, and I think we'll call it I'm Having a Green Day. So if you see the clip I'm Having a Green Day and you don't want to see it, your best bet is bypass it. But if you would like to see it, I'm sure you will, because I've got a few followers. I think I got 6 or 8 every clip, and really good followers. So if you keep that in mind, those ones, if they're watching it now, I'd like to see you come in on it and say, gee, worry, I don't mind that at all. So that's all I have to say, and we'll go from there, and we'll catch up on the next one. And it'd be good if that dog next door suffered from laryngitis too, but no, it's always barking all the time. So I should get my sausage dog out there to line it up, but at this stage can't do nothing with that either because she's on heat and I don't want to get her barreled out there. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Hope you thought these 3 tips what I give you on the Classic 350 Reborn was worth listening to, and cheers for now.